This is ABC7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
We are not defined by the color of our skin, the figure on our paycheck, or the party of our politics.
President Trump was met by protesters in Phoenix on Monday, and then he spoke to veterans in Reno on Tuesday. Did he back down on his comments about Charlottesville? Good evening, I'm Haley Wilgus. Alan Cohn has the night off. More on the week in Washington coming up, but first, our top 7 stories at 7. We begin with the hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico. The Gulf Coast is bracing for Hurricane Harvey, projected to make landfall tonight as a Category 3 hurricane with winds over 110 miles per hour. That would make it the strongest storm to make landfall in the U.S. in more than a decade. ABC's Lana Zach is on the ground in Houston as the state of Texas prepares for the worst.
Winds are whipping, rain is falling, and the water is getting choppy along the Gulf Coast. But this is nothing compared to what experts say coastal residents of Texas, Mississippi, and Louisiana will experience after Hurricane Harvey hits later tonight.
Think of your life first. The most important thing that we're dealing with right now is human life.
Among the concerns, massive flooding, 3 feet of rain in some areas, storm surges projected to reach up to 12 feet. And with all of that flooding, widespread power outages.
This storm is not going to play out overnight. When the power goes off, you can expect it to be off 3 to 7 days.
Voluntary and mandatory evacuations are in effect. The message heard over and over again, don't risk it.
The storm could change. And as they've said, they're not going to come rescue.
Here in Houston, highway warnings tell drivers to prepare.
Absolute insanity over this hurricane.
While in Corpus Christi, all of the tiniest new residents have been successfully relocated. Children's Health tweeting praise for their support teams that evacuated their NICU there.
Here in Houston, America's 4th largest city, the governor is urging people to go north. And I also want to give you a little bit of perspective. Harvey is expected to make landfall as a Category 3 hurricane. The last time America experienced any of those, they were named Wilma and Katrina. Reporting from Houston, Lana Zach, ABC News.
And now we're going to head over to meteorologist Steve Newman, who has more on the path of Hurricane Harvey. Steve.
Yeah, I'm really afraid of what the outcome of Harvey will be over the next 5 days, swirling over East Texas for 5 days. You can see on the radar the last several hours of the storm swirling. One thing that appears to have happened in the last half hour, maybe 45 minutes, is the forward speed has stopped. It looks like it has stalled. You can see just south of Rockport, or just offshore from Rockport, is that Barrier Island. Look at the last couple of images. It's just sitting there and spinning. That's not good news because it just helps pile up more water and storm surge to the right of the storm. Here is a view from the visual satellite looking down right into the eye. You can see the sun is beginning to set, but very clearly a powerful storm just about to make landfall. We'll look more at that storm later on in the broadcast, but we have some storms over Florida right now, and we're predicted to have some showers off and on through the evening hours. Not showing up right now on radar, but you can see that moisture coming in from the Gulf of Mexico. This is not initialized really well, this high-resolution futurecast, but it just show that we could have some more storms and rain right on through the evening hours, and then thinning out a little bit in the small hours of the morning, but still chance here and there right on through most of Saturday and into early Sunday. Here's the temperature forecast cooling off into the upper 70s overnight, and the chance of rain, well, the numbers don't lie. If this model is right, we're going to get some rain off and on, but I'm not seeing it on radar right now. We'll have the complete forecast and a detailed look at Hurricane Harvey coming up in just a few minutes. Haley?
Thank you, Steve. As Hurricane Harvey bears down on the Gulf Coast of Texas, gas prices in Florida are expected to jump in the next week. A host of oil refineries sit in the projected path of the storm near Houston and Corpus Christi, representing 14% of the total U.S. oil processing capacity. Additionally, the vast majority of gas that Florida receives is shipped across the Gulf of Mexico from those refineries. AAA's W.D. Williams says prices could jump between 10 and 30 cents over the next week, depending on how bad the storm ends up being.
Florida gets most of its gasoline that's shipped across the Gulf of Mexico from Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi to our state. So a storm that lingers, as this one is expected to do over the western Gulf, could have an impact on shipping and our ability to receive fuel supplies.
With Harvey being a Category 3 storm, some refineries could be offline for up to 3 weeks. Opioid overdose deaths happen all over the nation, even in our own backyard, but numbers are declining due to a certain drug. In Manatee County, they've already spent more than $65,000 this year on the life-saving drug Narcan, which is used to reverse an overdose. Now, efforts are underway to equip Manatee County Sheriff's deputies with the life-saving drug. But one dose comes at a $40 price tag, making it difficult for law enforcement and first responders to keep up with. According to statistics, in July of 2016, there were 327 overdoses in Manatee County. 24 were deaths. July of this year, there was a tremendous decline, with 104 overdoses, 11 resulting in deaths. The decrease is due in part to Narcan. Right now, only EMS and fire departments have the drug, so the Sheriff's Department is hosting a golf tournament to raise money to purchase Narcan for every deputy to carry. Repairs are underway around a Sarasota County church after last night's storm blew off the roof of a utility building. This was the scene off of Clark Road east of the interstate at the Suncoast Community Church. The storm damaged a metal roof on an old storage building adjacent to the church. Workers also took away large limbs that blew down during the late afternoon burst of bad weather. A Sarasota man is behind bars after sheriff's deputies say images and videos of child pornography were found on his phone. Deputies say the investigation began Monday when a cell phone was turned into the Sarasota County Sheriff's Office. The phone belongs to Milton Ramon Salgado Benucci. He's charged with 33 felony counts of possession of sexual performance by a child. Florida has put a convicted double murderer to death with an anesthetic never before used in lethal injection in the U.S. Authorities said 53-year-old Mark Asay was the first white man executed in Florida for the killing of a black man. He was pronounced dead at 6:22 p.m. Thursday at the state prison in Stark. Asay received a 3-drug injection. Although it was approved by the Florida Supreme Court, this certain drug that was used that's not been used before has been criticized by some as being an unproven method in an execution. An internal review mostly praises the Florida Department of Law Enforcement's response to the nightclub shooting in Orlando, but says improvements could be made in how the state agency identifies victims and notifies next of kin. The report is a self-review of the Florida Department's response to the massacre. The Florida Department's report says in a rush to get to the scene, agents did not bring common equipment. It recommends having go bags with equipment that agents can take for a quick deployment. Still to come, President Trump is concluding his 30th week in office. We'll review the events in Washington when we return.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Join the fun at the Weddings of Sarasota 17th Annual Wedding Show at the iconic Sarasota Municipal Auditorium on US 41. Sunday, August 27th from noon to 4. Enjoy food, fun, and entertainment with a runway show on stage at 3 p.m. $2,000 in Weddings of Sarasota dollars given out after the runway show. You must be present to win. Pre-register at weddingsofsarasota.com. Brides and grooms are free if registered by midnight on August 25th. Weddings of Sarasota. Register today.
This is important news for women who were administered chemotherapy intravenously for breast cancer and then suffered permanent hair loss. The chemotherapy drug Taxotere has been linked to permanent alopecia or permanent hair loss. Some women administered the breast cancer chemotherapy drug Taxotere have suffered from permanent hair loss on scalp, eyebrows, and eyelashes. The FDA has urged doctors and the manufacturer to warn women administered Taxotere of the risk of permanent hair loss. If you or a loved one were administered chemotherapy chemotherapy intravenously for breast cancer and suffered permanent hair loss, you may have a right to a cash award and medical expenses. If you suffered permanent hair loss after chemotherapy for breast cancer, call the law offices of Davis & Crump at the number below right now to find out if you are eligible for a cash award and medical expenses. Call the law offices of Davis & Crump right now. Our first consultation is free, and we don't get paid unless you get paid. Call now. Operators are standing by.
Attention Sarasota and surrounding cities. After 25 years in Sarasota, Bacon's Furniture and Design will be moving to create Southwest Florida's largest and most dynamic furniture store. We must liquidate everything in the store at huge savings as fast as possible. Do not miss this opportunity to purchase quality sofas, bedrooms, dining rooms, patio furniture, mattresses, and more. All at the absolute lowest prices possible. The Bacon's Furniture and Design relocation sell-off. Nobody beats Bacon's.
ABC7, your official Florida lottery station for the Suncoast.
President Trump seems to have calmed down after Tuesday night's angry diatribe in Phoenix. Wednesday, he stayed on script in an address to veterans in Reno. CNN's Jim Acosta reports.
Speaking to military veterans in Reno, it was a more presidential Trump.
We have no division too deep for us to heal. And there is no enemy too strong for us to overcome.
But the restrained performance was a far cry from the president who went on a verbal rampage in Phoenix, ranting and raving about the removal of Confederate statues.
They're trying to take away our culture. They're trying to take away our history. And our weak leaders, they do it overnight.
And threatening a government shutdown if Congress doesn't pay for a wall on the border. The same wall he once vowed Mexico would fund.
Believe me, if we have to close down our government, we're building that wall.
The most mind-boggling moment came when the president tried to whitewash his comments on Charlottesville.
Here's what I said on Saturday. We're closely following the terrible events unfolding in Charlottesville, Virginia. This is me speaking. We condemn in the strongest possible terms this egregious display of hatred, bigotry, and violence.
Mr. Trump blatantly omitted the fact that he blamed the violence on many sides.
We condemn in the strongest possible terms this egregious display of hatred, bigotry, and violence on many sides. On many sides.
And neglected to mention that he said some of the white supremacist demonstrators were very fine people.
Excuse me, they didn't put themselves down as you, and you had some very bad people in that group. But you also had people that were very fine people on both sides.
No, sir, the Nazis, there are no fine people in the Nazis.
In Phoenix, the president was playing to the cheers from his base.
So I think we'll end up probably terminating NAFTA at some point.
From his suggestion that he might pardon controversial Arizona Sheriff Joe Arpaio.
You know what? I'll make a prediction. I think he's going to be just fine, okay?
To his not-so-subtle bashing of Arizona Senator John McCain, who's battling brain cancer.
One vote away. I will not mention any names.
The president is still venting his frustrations with Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, fuming over his defeat on health care, tweeting, "If Republican Senate doesn't get rid of the filibuster rule and go to a simple majority, which the Dems would do, they are just wasting time."
Mr. McCain.
But the president keeps forgetting his health care bill failed to secure that simple majority in the Senate. The last 2 days are leaving GOP lawmakers scratching their heads and warning against the idea of a government shutdown.
Well, I don't think a government shutdown is necessary, and I don't think most people want to see a government shutdown.
But a more critical conversation is underway in Washington, whether the president should have access to the nation's nuclear arsenal.
I worry about, frankly, the access to nuclear codes. If he, in a fit of pique, he decides to do something about Kim Jong-un, there's actually very little to stop him.
And there is talk of setting up a meeting between the president and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. Time will tell what will unfold with that. When we come back, we'll discuss everything that happened in Washington with our guests. Stay with us.
When you want to get away from it all, to a place where you can do everything, or nothing at all, surrounded by natural beauty and all the modern amenities you might desire, then you'll want to be here at the Wanna Be Inn. on the beautiful shores of Manasota Key, Florida. To plan your escape, log on to wannabein.com.
Jacuzzi is proud to present our first ever safe bathing event. The Jacuzzi walk-in tub allows you or a loved one to take a safe and relaxing bath. Never climb in and out of a regular bathtub again. Our walk-in tub offers a low step-in threshold, fast drain technology, soothing hydrotherapy, and even a shower handle. Regain bathing independence with a Jacuzzi walk-in tub and enjoy spending more time with loved ones. Why wait any longer? During our safe bathing event, save $750 on a new walk-in tub. Receive $250 in safety upgrades and a $100 Visa gift card. But if you call right now during this program, we'll double the savings to $1,500, double the safety upgrades to $500, and double it to a $200 Visa gift card with your walk-in tub purchase. Going back to where it all began in 1956, Jacuzzi Incorporated was founded and the whirlpool bathing category was born. Jacuzzi's patented Hydra massage jets provide an unmatched bathing experience. Jacuzzi is proud to present our first ever safe bathing event. Never climb in and out of a regular bathtub again. Our walk-in tub offers a low step-in threshold, fast drain technology, soothing hydrotherapy, and even a shower handle. During our safe bathing event, save $750 on a new walk-in tub. Receive $250 in safety upgrades and a $100 Visa gift card. But if you call right now during this program, we'll double the savings to $1,500, double the safety upgrades to $500, and double it to a $200 Visa gift card with your walk-in tub purchase. A safe and relaxing bath is only a phone call away. Call right now to save double on a new walk-in tub. Call now.
Welcome back. President Trump began the week giving an update on what his plans are for the war in Afghanistan. There were also reports that the Secret Service is struggling to pay the president's large security bill. Trump also started his campaign for re-election in 2020 when he spoke earlier this week in Phoenix, Arizona. Protesters were lining the streets, and the president did go off script, talking more about Charlottesville. And then he traveled to Reno, Nevada to speak to veterans about their benefits. The president will be at Camp David over the weekend, but the White House says he's well aware of the hurricane that is hitting Texas later tonight. And here to help us talk all about the week in Washington is Keith Fitzgerald, a political professor at New College of Florida, Mark Weston, a presidential election historian and author of The Land and People of Pakistan, and David Samuel, the president of the Republican Club of Northport. Gentlemen, thanks for being with us tonight. And I want to just go through and get everyone's opinion. This was just the week that ran the gamut, basically, and kind of give me just an assessment on your initial thoughts of how you think the president may have scored this week. We'll start with Keith.
Well, I think these last 2 weeks will go down in history as two of the worst weeks in the history of the United States presidency. It's gone beyond short-term politics, left, right, Democrat, Republican. It's now to the point where I believe he's diminished the power of the office and the credibility in a way that has some lasting ramifications. When a sitting president is attacking the leaders of his own party, when a former intelligence director is saying that he believes he's unstable, when a Republican United States senator is saying a Republican president is not competent to do the job, this is remarkable. So it would be an understatement to say it was a bad week. It was a terrible week for the president, but I think worse, it was a terrible week for the presidency and a terrible week for the United States.
Okay, and Mark, your thoughts.
This week has shown the fallacy of the idea that a businessman can run the government better than a politician. It is a different skill set. CEOs give orders. Businessmen have to deal with elected representatives from 50 different states. And instead, Trump has been making enemies of the very senators that he's going to need to pass legislation in the future. He feels that with his base, he can intimidate members of Congress, but his base is only 35%. It is declined by 1% a month. By next spring, it'll probably be in the 20s, and he will find that he can't intimidate anybody in Congress because his base is too small to win in a general election.
Okay, and I have a feeling that you may have some different thoughts.
Yes, I'm in a different world, I guess, but Trump's supporters are still solidly behind him. And one of the things I try to remind my friends, The far left is trying to distract, disrupt, and demonize Donald Trump and the Republican Party. Keep that in mind and listen to the facts. Get your news sources from all sorts of sources. Congressional Record, Fox News, ABC. Vary your news sources and make up your own mind. Don't let the things that are going on distract you, because Donald Trump is trying to achieve his agenda. Lowering taxes, that's a big one coming up, the income tax. And revisiting health care. And if you look right now, things are going well with the stock market. So things are going well for Donald Trump.
But do you think that if those are his priorities, maybe some of the things that have transpired over the last week maybe are distracting from that agenda?
Yes, they are distracting from that agenda, but he's going to get back onto his agenda. Right now, his main concern is the hurricane that's hitting Texas, and I think he'll be on top of that.
Okay, we'll talk more about that. We're just getting warmed up when we come back. We do have some breaking news, though, regarding Hurricane Harvey. That's coming up next.
The following message is brought to you by Mesobook.com.
People who have been diagnosed with mesothelioma have many questions. How did I get this disease? What are my treatment options? How will this affect my loved ones? You need answers, which is why we offer a free book written by medical professionals who have treated mesothelioma.
Call toll-free at 1-800-777-1366 or go to Mesobook.com.
You love your couch and want to protect it from spills, food, and scratching, shedding pets. Introducing Couch Coat, the reversible, washable quilted cover that protects your couch. Shield against spills, wow, stop stains, and dirty pet paws and sharp claws. Plus, it's reversible with 2 stylish colors. Guaranteed to fit any couch up to 92 inches or your money back. It even has covers to protect armrests. Machine washable too.
My grandkids destroy everything, but with Couch Coat, my couch is always protected, looking as good as it did the day I bought it.
Get your Couch Coat for just $19.99, and it's reversible in brown and cream, like 2 couch coats for the price of 1. Order right now, and you can double your offer. Get a second Couch Coat. Just pay a separate fee. Order right now.
Call 1-800-943-0710 to get your couch coat. Call now or go to couchcoat.com. So call 1-800-943-0710. That's 1-800-943-0710. Call now.
Attention, Americans eligible for Medicare. Are you getting all the benefits you're entitled to? Did you know there may be money available to lower your medical prescription costs? Call Health Markets and we'll tell you if you qualify.
Hi, I'm Dr. Martin Jeetsi. It's a new Medicare year. That means more changes and more confusion. The key question is, what can you do now to ensure you get the care you need in the coming year?
Call Health Markets today. You may qualify to save money on prescriptions. We'll help you find plans that may cost less, cover more, and could even lower your prescription costs to increase your savings. We help you find all the benefits you're entitled to, and we do it at no cost.
Make sure you have what you need to get the care that's right for you.
Find out if you qualify to receive extra help with your prescriptions. Call the number on the screen now. Representatives are standing by.
Welcome back. You are taking a live look at the Texas Gulf Coast right now. As you can see, the wind is picking up with those palm trees there. Large waves crashing ashore. Harvey has now been upgraded to a dangerous Category 4 storm in the Gulf. It's expected to make landfall either late tonight or early tomorrow morning. For more on that, we are going to take a look at our first alert forecast with meteorologist Steve Newman, who has been tracking Harvey.
Just at the top of the hour, they clocked the winds at 130 miles an hour, making it a Category 4 storm, and it stalled just offshore. We'll look more closely at Harvey in just a minute, but it was kind of an unsettled day across the Suncoast. Some areas got some heavy rain, especially down over Charlotte Harbor and Fort Myers. It just got doused, flooded down there. We have some fairly hefty storms going down Highway 70 up in Manatee County toward Mayaca City and Arcadia at this hour. The airport is 85 degrees. Our humidity is 82%. With a dew point of 79. Taking a look at our high and low today. The high this afternoon was 88, last night's low 76, a little cooler than normal for the high this afternoon. Now, if we take a look at our current radar, this is what I was talking about, those storms going right down State Route 70, heading toward Mayaca City and Arcadia, and there's a lot of lightning with these storms as well. You can see that some of the blue stripes would be positive storms, and it just seems to be a train. The models have been predicting something like this over the area. I think it's mainly focused up there in Manatee County right now. Now, if we look at the storm right now by satellite, it's just about approaching the coast. It's just offshore, barely touching the barrier islands, the outer wall of the storm, as we can see in this visible light satellite image. And the sun's going down, so we're going to lose these pictures in a little bit. But looking right down in high resolution, you can see the power of the eye just swirling around there, approaching the barrier islands near Corpus Christi. Radar is also showing the very distinct eye and the spiraling bands. They have their own problems beside the flooding, beside the storm surge. As these spiraling bands move ashore and they interact with land, they have spin up of tornadoes. So this is a tornado watch that goes all the way into Louisiana, back along a good deal of the Texas coast to the right of the center of the storm. Take a closer look at the storm, and I've noticed in the last 4 or 5 images that it seems to be stalled just offshore from these barrier islands, not moving forward, but it did intensify. So it's allowing it to stay over warmer water and intensify, which was the worst thing that could possibly happen. And it's going to continue to develop and move inland through the evening hours. But look at this. This is the European forecast model showing it just spinning Saturday, Sunday, Monday, going back over the open waters Monday into Tuesday, and then strengthening a little bit and coming back in. This is one possible outcome. There's a lot of uncertainty with this storm, but one thing we do know, it's going to produce a lot of rain. Category 4 storm with winds at 130 miles an hour. Here's the forecast plot showing that it moves inland and into Sunday weakens to Category 1 force and then to tropical storm force and then kind of loops back. That's the official forecast. Now we look at the rainfall potential over the East Texas area, multi-inch rainfall. I mean, just rainfall like we've never seen. I've seen meteorologists talking on TV all day today and read Twitter feeds from all the experts at the Hurricane Center. They've never seen anything like this, where a storm this powerful moves ashore and just churns there day after day. Much better conditions across Florida, although it's going to be wet. Things could be a lot worse for us, so we can accept the scattered showers and thunderstorms that are dampening our evening. And they'll be gone, I think, by Monday when the chance of rain goes down significantly. I think you'll like a little bit of dry weather when it gets here. And here's your 7-day outlook showing that we have a 70% chance of showers and thunderstorms tomorrow, decreasing to 50% on Sunday, and then much drier weather, 30% chance on Tuesday and Wednesday. Haley will be back with her guest in just a few minutes. Stay tuned.
It's Lincoln's summer sales event here at Alex Karras Lincoln. Drive a brand new 2017 Lincoln MKC Sport Utility for $269 per month, or a 2017 MKZ for $299 per month. We have a great selection of certified pre-owned Lincolns. These vehicles have warranties up to 100,000 miles and come with complimentary roadside assistance. Alex Karras Lincoln, affordable luxury, winner of the prestigious 2015 President's Award, serving Florida's Sun Coast since 1978. We're located 2 miles north of the Sarasota-Bradenton Airport on US 41.
Credit card debt can ruin your life. If you owe $10,000 and minimum payments are siphoning away your paycheck each month, you can get debt-free in less time than you think.
I've paid $800 a month for the past 3 years and haven't changed the balance on my credit card.
Get debt-free now has a program to reduce your debt, stop the harassing phone calls, avoid financial ruin, and settle for less than you owe.
I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders.
You're pre-approved for our special hardship program if you owe $10,000 or more. Upon payment of your new lower balance, your debt will finally shrink until you are debt-free.
My family no longer has 30 years of payments ahead of us at 20% interest.
There's no fees until you see results. So call now, make one monthly program payment, and free up your cash. Resolve your debt.
Call 800-628-1251, 800-628-1251.
This is an important announcement. If you're between 50 and 85 and worried about your loved ones, you can still get affordable life insurance for peace of mind.
My life insurance coverage is guaranteed, and I was not required to get a medical exam.
I had high blood pressure and diabetes, and I got my coverage with one telephone call. No exam necessary.
I'm a smoker, and I wanted to take care of my family.
I called to get my life insurance and my affairs in order. I wanted to do the right thing.
Call Final Expense No Exam Insurance. Your rates are guaranteed and will never increase.
I called and learned that this insurance cannot be canceled even if you get sick or gain weight.
And there are no restrictions on how my beneficiaries use the money when I'm gone.
Approval was easy and the price was right. I wanted to do this for my children.
Call 800-738-9812. 800-738-9812.
Welcome back. President Trump had a rough last couple of weeks by some accounts. His comments on Charlottesville last week had members of his own party speaking out against those comments. This week, he spoke out about the war in Afghanistan, veterans' benefits, and more. Joining us now is Keith Fitzgerald, a political professor at New College of Florida, Mark Weston, a presidential election historian and author, and Dave Samuel, the president of the Republican Club of Northport. So first, I want to start with Keith and ask you to compare just how different those speeches were, the one he gave that was more of a campaign-style rally in Phoenix versus when he addressed veterans about benefits in Reno, a totally different tone.
Right, so in Reno he called for unity, healing, and love, which is in response to the problem he caused with the disunity and division in the previous speech. So these speeches careen wildly from one view to another. It suggests both inconsistency, hypocrisy, and somewhat instability, if at best deep cynicism about the United States. And I think the thing about the Phoenix speech that is so remarkable is just how divisive it is. We're reopening wounds that were healed in the Civil War by talking about our heritage. And this is just not what we need. But to say that then and turn around and say we need unity and love is just remarkably cynical, and I think it's dispiriting and discouraging. And I just do want to say that this is beyond Democrat, Republican, liberal, conservative, Tom and Jerry, sheepdog and wolf. This really has to do with the country, and this is not good for us. When he's attacking his own people, John McCain, I'll tell you, I followed Mitch McConnell for 45 years because I'm from Louisville, Kentucky. If there's anything that he believes in, it's civil rights. And he is now appalled at his own president from his own party. So this is not about Republican and Democrat, liberal and conservative. This is about the United States of America. And I think these two different speeches dramatize how he's driving us apart and making us feel uneasy and anxious.
And what are your thoughts on that, about the divide between Mitch McConnell and President Trump, and then even his comments on Senator Jeff Flake? What is with this division within the party?
Well, again, these are folks that have been in office for a long, long time. Donald Trump is new, President Trump is new, and he's often mentioned draining the swamp. And a lot of these folks are leftovers from the old days. They don't understand what the people really want, and the people want some action right now. So he's putting some pressure on them to do what they were elected to do by the people.
And then how do you, it's quite a, I'm missing the word right now, but there's really a comparison when you look at how many people he brings out to these rallies and how excited they are about his thoughts, comments, plans. But then you see things like this Quinnipiac poll that came out on Wednesday that shows 62% of voters say that President Trump is doing more to divide the country than to unite it. So I want to get your response to that.
My belief in the polls right now, when he was running for office, they were all wrong. But if you look at some of the other people they put in front of these polls, McConnell and some of the other folks that we mentioned, they rate even lower than President Trump. And he's doing what the people want, and he's not worried about the polls, and neither are most of the supporters of Donald Trump.
And Mark, let's talk a little bit about this spending bill issue with this divide between Mitch McConnell and President Trump, who says if we have to shut down the government to build this wall, we're going to do it. Then Paul Ryan comes out and says, I don't think we need to shut down the government. We don't want to shut down the government. So what happens? Do they get something passed by the end of the fiscal year at the end of September?
I hope so, because who wants to see the government shut down? First of all, I thought Mexico was going to pay for the wall. That's what he said all through last year. I don't think the Republicans, they have the Senate, the House, and the presidency. If the government shuts down, there's no way they can blame this on the Democrats. It's their baby if the government shuts down. And I think they'll get together and find a way not to have it shut down. It's not something that anybody wants, Republican or Democrat. In terms of, he talks about healing. The way to heal is to criticize yourself a little bit and praise other people a little bit. And he has never done this, ever. I don't think he's capable of dealing it. And he makes each speech to the audience that's in the room, and he's never interested in whatever he said yesterday. He's focused on the room he's talking to today. So we're going to live with this inconsistency for another couple of years.
And Dave, what do you think about the rehashing of Charlottesville? Do you understand his strategy with that? I mean, he's now brought it up at several different, and each one struck like a slightly different tone. What do you think about that? Should he have kind of just let sleeping dogs lie, or why do you think he keeps bringing that back up?
Well, placing myself in his shoes, I look back to the 1990s and several other times when he came out strongly against the Ku Klux Klan and neo-Nazism. And the press keeps asking him questions over and over again. What do you think about the Klan? What do you think about the neo-Nazis? And he's already responded to them time and time and time again. And when he came out the first time after Charlottesville, he may have not mentioned the people, but folks knew what he meant when he stated about the bad people and the good people. And then later on, he did come out and say the Klan and the neo-Nazis. And he's a novice at this, but he's also a person who is against those organizations, always has been. And I believe that the Democrats, and especially the far left, are just making a big issue out of this, again, to distract people.
And I think the three words we keep hearing over and over was on, or were on both sides, when he said there were fine people on both sides. I think that's what really sunk him in this criticism. What are your thoughts when he said that?
If you looked at what was going on, you saw both sides fighting. There were also people standing by. Some of them were dupes. They're there just to be there. And they're associated with these groups. And maybe he was talking about bystanders that came and really weren't part of this, that were actually just expressing their free speech rights to come to that event.
Okay, and Keith, your thoughts on this rehashing of Charlottesville?
On Monday was not 1990. He was saying divisive things on Monday. And then in Phoenix, he talked about our culture and our heritage. These are long-term buzzwords for white supremacy. So you can say in the 1990s he condemned the Ku Klux Klan. He is on an ongoing basis trying to divide white versus black, Catholic and Jew against Protestant. It's just remarkable how outside of the mainstream he is. And the idea that somehow the Civil Rights Act and the idea that all people are created equal or the far left is going to get you guys in big trouble if you don't watch out. These are settled issues. There is one status of citizen in the United States, not several. It's not our heritage to stand up for white supremacy. My heritage, my great-grandfather fought in the Civil War. He was an immigrant from Ireland escaping colonialism. He came here and fought for the freedom of the slaves. That's my heritage. I don't relate to our heritage being taken away.
And I know that that keeps coming up when he says our culture, and that's been used, that word has been used by white supremacists, but that word has been used by many, many people who are not white supremacists.
Not really. Not in the context of talking about Civil War memorials. And when you're talking about Civil War memorials, that is a long-term buzzword, code word for white supremacy, and it's just a matter of history. Those statues were put up in the 1920s when the Ku Klux Klan came back again after they had been nearly eradicated, partly because they were upset about Catholics and Jews coming to the United States. So, you know, this is very, very deeply divisive language, and we just don't need it. It's just not what we need. You talked about action. That's not action. That's driving us apart. It's making it harder for us to solve our common problems.
I know, Dave, I know you want to respond. I have to go to break, but I will give you the floor when we come back.
This is an important medical announcement. Xarelto and Pradaxa have been linked to uncontrollable bleeding and even death. If you've been prescribed one of these drugs and have experienced these dangerous side effects, you may be entitled to substantial compensation. Studies show that Pradaxa can cause more heart attacks than warfarin, and other countries have already issued safety warnings against this drug. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. The call is confidential, there's no cost, and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to Pradaxa victims, and thousands of Xarelto victims are filing their legal cases. Call the Drug Watch hotline if you or a loved one used Xarelto or Pradaxa and experienced uncontrollable bleeding, brain hemorrhage, or even death. You must call now.
Call 800-793-6055. 800-793-6055.
You studied hard, went to college, and achieved your dream, but it turned into a financial nightmare. If you have federal student loans and you'd like to reduce your payments, get more time, or have your loans completely eliminated, then we have good news. With one call to Student Loan Relief Services, you can find support and guidance. We've already helped thousands of people, and we can help you too. If you have $10,000 or more in federal student loans, you can qualify for payment extensions, payment reductions, or you may qualify to have your federal student loan completely forgiven. Call Student Loan Relief Services now to find out about your options. Take control of your finances and get out from under this burden. One of our student loan experts has the answers to your questions and great solutions to ease your financial burden. We're here for you. Call Student Loan Relief Services now.
Call 800-759-0203. 800-759-0203.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
The ABC7 First Alert Hurricane Guide. Download yours today.
Welcome back. Our guests are joining us with their final thoughts. We have so much to get to, not enough time for all of it, but Dave, I'm going to let you respond to what Keith had said.
Yeah, Keith was talking about racism and code words. I'd like to remind people that Donald Trump, his daughter and his son-in-law are Jewish. And also he has a black gentleman, Dr. Ben Carson, in the HUD department as the director of that. And then also, if you look at some of the other things that he's done, he's pushing for diversity in several of his departments. And this is something I don't think a racist would do.
Okay, and Mark, your final thoughts on some of the discussion that we've had tonight.
We're about to get into a quagmire in Afghanistan. We've been there 16 years. He wants to keep us there. I don't see what's going to happen in the 17th, 18th, or 19th year that hasn't happened. The Taliban are ethnic Pashtuns. They're kind of like the Klingons in Star Trek. They live for fighting and honor. They control the countryside. Once you get out of the cities, we are not going to defeat them. We have one interest and only one interest in Afghanistan. We don't want anyone harboring terrorists there. And I think we can make a deal with the Taliban. You can have the country and put it back in the Middle Ages if that's what you want to do. And don't harbor terrorists or we'll come back and bomb you. That would be it would save hundreds of lives and hundreds of billions of dollars instead of prolonging this quagmire.
And Keith, do you think with this hurricane coming, the president plans to go to Texas, do you think that there is some way he can kind of go on a really good PR trip with this?
Well, I don't think dealing with a hurricane is an opportunity for public relations. I think it's an opportunity to do well by the people of the United States. And so I hope he doesn't use it for a PR trip. I hope he uses it to make sure everything's going well and get things done. And that's really where we need to get back to in this country, where people work together, have legitimate disputes, legitimate debates, but understand we have a common purpose and focus on what solutions will move us forward. That's where we need to be.
Okay, so one last thought. We have 30 seconds.
Okay, I'd like to say something. This is probably the best prepared government for a hurricane ever, because FEMA has really moved on up for training for local, state, and federal level. So you're going to see some great things happen.
But he hasn't appointed a head of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration yet.
Okay, well, we just hope that no matter what politics aside, that everyone is safe and that the response is fantastic. So SRQ Airport is expanding, but is it enough to keep local residents from flying out of Tampa or Orlando, maybe even Fort Myers? SRQ has 3 of the top 4 major carriers, American, Delta, and United, missing Southwest. The ticket prices have stayed consistent because of the flights are staying full, so they don't have a reason to take down the ticket price. We asked you on Facebook if the expansion of the airport is enough, or are you driving to another airport because of the cost? Here are some of your comments. Tracy starts off our comments tonight by saying, my husband and I live in Nebraska and visit Sarasota several times each year. We always fly into SRQ. The cost difference is very small compared to the convenience. The airport is always clean and the staff is always helpful. We love SRQ. John, though, feels differently and says rates are too high. Not enough airlines to choose from. Not enough direct flights to places. Sorry, usually fly out of Tampa. SRQ needs to do a lot of growing and expanding. And Mike with our final comment of the night saying, since Southwest bought out AirTran, I've been using the Tampa airport. Airfare is simply too expensive to fly out of SRQ for a lot of people. They need to have competitive rates if they want to be successful. If you would like to join the conversation on tonight's topic, you can visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/news@7. And you can always watch our discussions on demand. They are available on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and Roku. A big thank you to our guest, Keith Fitzgerald, a political professor at New College of Florida, Mark Weston, a presidential election historian and author, and Dave Samuel, the president of the Republican Club of Northport. When we return, we'll have a final look at your first alert weather. Plus, how is President Trump preparing the nation for Hurricane Harvey? Stay with us.
When you want to get away from it all, to a place where you can do everything, or nothing at all, surrounded by natural beauty and all the modern amenities you might desire, then you'll want to be here at the Wanna Be Inn on the beautiful shores of Manasota Key, Florida. To plan your escape, log on to wannabeinn.com.
Attention! Royal Seas Cruises has just announced their deal of the day, a $99 Caribbean cruise for 2 people. This amazing cruise deal to the Bahamas is only available to the first 500 callers who register in your area today. So get ready to write down this number and act fast. We know that the best type of traveler is a repeat guest, so we're offering this $99 Caribbean cruise to prove it. That's $99 per couple, including your stateroom, all your delicious meals, full spa, live entertainment, 3 kids clubs, and more. Come see why we were voted one of the top 10 best overall cruises by Cruise Critic. We're so sure you'll enjoy yourself and become a repeat customer that you're getting this deal of the day for the unbelievable low price of just $99 per couple. But you've got to act fast. Pick up the phone and be one of the first 500 callers to take the Caribbean cruise of a lifetime for just $99 per couple. Call right now or log on to royalcruisenow.com.
Call 800-906-0489.
Attention Sarasota and surrounding cities. After 25 years in Sarasota, Bacon's Furniture and Design will be moving to create Southwest Florida's largest and most dynamic furniture store. We must liquidate everything in the store at huge savings as fast as possible. Do not miss this opportunity to purchase quality sofas, bedrooms, dining rooms, patio furniture, mattresses, and more. All at the absolute lowest prices possible. The Bacon's Furniture and Design relocation sell-off. Nobody beats Bacon's.
Your primetime headlines are coming up in just a moment, but right now let's get a final check on our first alert forecast with meteorologist Steve Newman.
Hi, Haley. A little warmer than we were last night. The storms we had yesterday afternoon cooled things off. Well, we're in the 80s across most of the viewing area right now. Arcadia 79 because of some storms that are going right now on State Route 70 at this hour. They show up on radar. It's just been a train of storms. I would imagine there could be some local flooding right through here because this has been going on for an hour or so. And look at this. Now we're starting to see the evolution that we thought would happen about an hour ago. Oh, this is another band around the low pressure area that's over Florida. So there is more rain coming. In fact, we can see some offshore that'll be pivoting over Sarasota in the next hour or so. Closer look at that U.S. State Highway 70 storm parade. You can see a lot of lightning with that around Mayaca City, heading right on to Arcadia. And that's a trouble spot right now, at least in Florida. The trouble spot in Texas is right off of Corpus Christi, where we have now Category 4 Hurricane Harvey. with maximum sustained winds of 130 miles an hour. As the sun goes down, you can see the eye wall just beginning to touch the barrier islands just off of Port Aransas, and it looks very impressive on radar too. We've noticed a lot of spiraling bands with this, and because of that and the potential of tornadoes, the National Severe Storm Center has issued this broad tornado watch that goes all the way up into the southwestern corner of Louisiana. That'll be there for the next several hours until these bands move inland and the threat ends. If we look in the last few images here, as the eye wall has pretty much stalled until the last couple of frames. I think it's stalled out here. It's strengthened to Category 4 because there's really warm water out through here, but it's slowly starting to creep toward, that would be Mustang Island and San Jose Island and Matagorda Island. Those are under threat right now. And this is the RPM computer forecast showing the storm tonight and tomorrow going inland, producing incredible amounts of rain. But this is only a 48-hour forecast. Then it starts to turn back around and pivot again. So as a result of that, we're going to have several days of heavy rain. Here's the official forecast from the National Hurricane Center with 130-mile-an-hour winds, Category 4. Hurricane Harvey moving ashore this evening before midnight, weakening to a Category 1 storm by Saturday afternoon. Then look, it kind of curves back around on Sunday after weakening to tropical storm force, and then comes back, spins around over the water, gains some strength, and moves to the northeast. And a result of 4 or 5 days of the storm swirling over eastern Texas, incredible amounts of rain. I don't want to overuse unprecedented, but this is truly unprecedented amounts of rain if this comes true. 40 inches above in Victoria. These are estimates based on the European model. Now, speaking of models, here is the one that's kind of overblown for us through the evening hours. Our high-resolution futurecast shows that we will have some scattered showers and thunderstorms through the area through the overnight hours. If we go on to the RPM model, it shows it goes on right on through the weekend until this eventually swirls around and then moves off into the Atlantic. That's the low pressure area that's been responsible. And by Monday, we'll start to have less of a chance of rain. Tuesday, much drier still. On the open water tomorrow, look for winds to be northwesterly 5 to 15 knots, seas 2 to 3 feet. Not a great day to be out on the open water. And here's your 7-day outlook. 70% chance of showers and thunderstorms tomorrow. Drops off to 50%. And as that low kicks out in the Atlantic, it drops off to 40% early Monday, then only 30% on Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. We have a real eagle eye on Hurricane Harvey. We'll keep you posted through the evening hours in our late news. Haley will be back with primetime headlines in just a couple of minutes.
This is an important medical announcement. Bard IVC filters have been linked to punctured veins and problems with migration. Anyone who's received a Bard IVC filter must receive medical monitoring and may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you have the Bard Recovery G2 or G2 Express filter, you are in a class of patients who should be compensated for some expenses. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. This call is confidential. There's no cost and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to people who should have been warned about the risks of the Bard IVC filters. Call the IVC Filter Hotline if you or a loved one has received an IVC filter and experienced a vein puncture or required medical monitoring. You must call now.
Call 800-329-3089. 800-329-3089.
Is your old garage door stuck or broken? Would a new one give you a lift? Let Precision Door Overhead Garage Door Service of Sarasota come to the rescue with prompt and affordable repair service. Replacement doors come with an array of styles and colors, and they are rated to meet and exceed Florida standards. From estimates to installation, your satisfaction is our priority. If you're not 100% satisfied with any product, service, or installation, we will make it right, because Precision Door Service is a name you can trust.
If you're only hungry for a slice of apple pie, why buy the whole pie? And you certainly wouldn't want to pay for an all-you-can-eat buffet. So if you don't use your cell phone that much, why get charged for a plan that's too big, or even an unlimited plan? Luckily, there's still a wireless company that shares your values. Welcome to Consumer Cellular. Our average customer pays about $25 a month for everything they need. Many pay even less, as plans start at just $10 a month. You'll get a straightforward bill that's easy to understand, with no surprises, and all the attention you deserve from our friendly customer service team. No wonder Consumer Cellular has received J.D. Power Awards for highest customer service. Plus, if you're an AARP member, you'll receive special discounts. It's easy to switch. You can even keep your phone and your number. So stop paying for more than you need and start your 30-day risk-free trial today. Call 800-457-2317, go online, or visit a Target store today.
Checking in on our primetime headlines, Hurricane Harvey has the potential to be the first natural disaster of Donald Trump's presidency, and he's facing it without a permanent Homeland Security secretary. The White House downplayed any concerns about their preparedness on Thursday as residents along the Texas coast scrambled to get ready for this huge storm. Karen Kafa reports from Washington.
Warnings, preparations, and evacuations along the Texas coast as Hurricane Harvey moves closer.
Bottled water, flashlights, generator.
The White House said the president is monitoring the weather situation, and a message on his Twitter account Thursday urged those in the storm region to plan ahead. The president will weather the storm without a permanent head of Homeland Security. Former Secretary John Kelly is now his chief of staff. White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders downplayed concerns about the administration's readiness, expressed confidence in the department's acting secretary, and said Kelly's new role will be an asset.
I think that we are in great shape having General Kelly sitting next to the president throughout this process, and probably no better chief of staff for the president during the hurricane season.
Harvey's powerful winds are a major concern, as is flooding. Harvey has been churning toward Texas at a slow speed, boosting potential rainfall totals. The storm could also bring heavy rain to eastern Louisiana, including New Orleans.
5 to 10 inches of rain over the duration of the event in our geographical location, with potential for double, and this is what worries me the most, for double if we get stuck in prolonged rain bands.
Harvey is forecast to make landfall in Texas late Friday into early Saturday. The last hurricane to hit the state was Ike in 2008, a storm that killed 21 people in Texas, Louisiana, and Arkansas. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
Some news coming in just within the last hour. North Korea has launched 3 short-range ballistic missiles into the Sea of Japan in what happens to be the latest weapons test for the country that has been rapidly expanding its nuclear weapons and missile program. 2 failed in flight, 1 blew up at launch. The launch comes weeks after North Korea created a tense standoff with the U.S. by threatening to lob some of its missiles toward Guam. President Trump, also this happening within the last hour, signing a memo today that formally directs the Pentagon to ban transgender individuals from openly serving in the U.S. military. That is according to a senior White House official. The directive gives the Department of Defense 6 months to develop an implementation plan that will go into effect on March 23rd, 2018. The overall basis for the president's directive was, quote, national security considerations. The official said the Pentagon still awaiting White House guidance on this whole ban and how it will all be enacted. Now, we do want to let you know we have Football Friday night coming up tonight during our 11 o'clock newscast. The issue is the weather. Some of these games are in jeopardy. The Manatee High game has already been called. It was called in the first 6 minutes of the game, but still, tune in at 11. We'll give you the highlights that we have. See you then.